So you open chess.com and feel like playing an aggressive opening. You finish the game, but now you're in the mood for a more relaxed, strategic approach. You want to play passively, create a long-term plan, and outmaneuver your opponent. The Vienna opening offers both of these playstyles and much more. The opening begins with moves e4, e5, and with knight c3 you enter into the Vienna game. The most defensive approach for black is the max large defense. Black plays knight c6, and the line proceeds like this. Bishop c4, knight f6, d3, knight a5, knight ge2, knight takes e4, d takes c4, bishop c5, and castle. From here, the plan is to develop your other pieces, possibly push the b-pawn to support the weak one on c4, or simply develop naturally while waiting with passive moves like h3 and a3. You can then respond to your opponent's attack. Another option is the famous Vienna gambit. If black plays knight f6, you strike with f4. If your opponent doesn't know the theory, they might capture the pawn, which is a mistake. You respond with e5, forcing the knight to retreat, leaving you in a better position. Black has wasted a move, so you're now a step ahead in development. Your plan is to play knight f3 or d4. Either is fine. Just prepare to capture the f4 pawn with your bishop when you can. If black is aware of this line, the best response is d5. The line then continues. F takes e5, knight takes e4, knight f3, bishop e7, queen e2, knight takes c3, d takes c3. For the middle game, you can develop your bishop to f4 or another square, castle queenside, or move your queen to activate your bishop. Even if black starts with knight c6 instead of knight f6, you can still play the Vienna gambit. If black captures the pawn, you play knight f3. Black's best response here is g5, to which you reply with g3. After g4, knight h4, f3, and d4. White's position might seem uncomfortable, but it's actually quite balanced. There's no need to panic. Just develop your other pieces and consider castling queenside. You'll also need to move your knight from h4 eventually, as it doesn't serve much purpose there. The first trap is great for beginners, but can also catch more advanced players off guard if executed properly. It starts after black plays knight f6 and you play f4. If black captures the pawn, you respond with e5, forcing the knight back as we learned earlier. The line continues with knight f3, d6, d4, and after d takes e4, you play bishop b5 check. If black blocks with a pawn, which is the most natural move, you retreat to c4 and pre-move castling. This is where the mind games begin. You want black to take on d4, making them think you've blundered by stupid pre-move and hanging a knight for free. But this is the trap. If black really take on d4, play bishop takes f7 check. If black takes your bishop, you capture their queen. If they respond with e7, you play rook e1 and take the queen on the next move. The next trap is very fast and easy to remember. After black's knight f6 and your f4, black might defend the pawn with their bishop. This is a blunder, because after f takes e5 and bishop takes e5, you strike with d4. The bishop has to retreat to d6, and then you fork with your e-pawn. The last trap is similar to the previous one, but instead of defending with the bishop, black plays knight c6. After trading pawns, you play d4 again. Wherever black retreats the knight, you follow up with e5. The worst scenario for black is when they play knight g4, because after e5 and the knight's retreat, you simply capture it with your queen. The Vienna opening is a flexible chess opening that supports both aggressive and strategic play. Players can choose between sharp, tactical attacks or a more patient approach, building a long-term plan. The Vienna gambit can put opponents under pressure early. It presents various tactical traps, making it effective against unprepared opponents. Overall, the Vienna opening offers versatility, combining quick tactical opportunities with solid positional play.